supposed to feel.
Remember, you don't get it twice, the time of your life.
A very good evening. Welcome to Champions League Live as we continue our semi-finals first leg coverage. And tonight we're at the Metropolitano in Madrid as Atletico Madrid take on Arsenal. Two sides who are much more known for their ruggedness and their defensive duties than anything else in the Champions League. And we're expecting the polar opposite to last night's goal fest at the Parc des Princes between PSG and Bayern Munich. A much more rigid affair. But who knows, they might prove us wrong at these two sides. All recapping the setup then. Of course, PSG 5, Bayern Munich 4 was an unbelievable game last night. An incredible match at the Parc des Princes, and we'll recap that at half-time. Arsenal is the first leg of this tonight. Then the return legs, 6 days between the first and second legs of this tie. Bayern and PSG will then meet a week tonight, and it's all in the lead up to that showpiece event, the grand finale, in Budapest on Saturday the 30th of May. But coming into this one tonight, well, it is quite clear what these two have at their grasp. A chance at getting to the Champions League final. Arsenal haven't been there since 2005, and it's been quite a few years since Atletico were there too, when they were beaten by Real Madrid back in 2018. Well, the sides have already met this season. They met back in October in the league phase, and Arsenal won that quite comfortably. 4-0 Arsenal beat Atleti at the Emirates. But both sides haven't been in their greatest runs of form as of recently. Atleti have lost 7 of the last 9 games in all competitions. The 3-2 win over Athletic Club at the weekend, and that 2-0 win against Barcelona in the first leg of the quarter-final. Their only 2 wins in the last 9 games. For Arsenal, a similar feat. 4 defeats in their last 7 games in all comps. The both games against Sporting in the quarter-finals and that 1-0 win over Newcastle at the weekend, the only games they failed to lose in this recent run. And the last and only meeting away at Atletico for Arsenal, or Atletico at home to Arsenal, in UEFA competitions ended 1-0 to Atleti in the 2018 Europa League semi-final, second leg. And Atleti went on, of course, to the final that season. Arsenal actually went to the final the season after that, of course, if you remember. But it is all facing off for the Champions League final. One of these two will be in the final. But which one will it be? Will it be Atleti or Arsenal? And who will they face? We're no closer to finding that out after last night's madness in Paris. 5-4 to PSG yesterday evening. And we'll find out next week what's going to come out of that one. Who knows? But tonight, it is really, you've got to feel Atleti have got to take a lead to the Emirates next week. Otherwise, their job is going to be incredibly difficult. It's going to be incredibly difficult anyway. It's the semi-finals of the Champions League. Nothing is a given at this stage. And you have to say, if both teams want to reach the final, they've got to work for it tonight. And neither of their opponents will be easy to find a way against. Atleti and Arsenal both emerging from this tunnel, of course, which is a unique tunnel. They go down the stairs and then emerge up a ramp into the wonderful Metropolitano that hosted this competition's final back in 2019 in Madrid. On the other side of North London, were in that final back in 2019 in Spurs. But can Arsenal use this stadium en route to a Champions League final? The first for them would be in 21 years, and a chance to lift this illustrious trophy for the very first time. Well, one thing that caught my eye really in the build-up to this game was Diego Simeone said it's a privilege, it's a responsibility to be at this stage of this competition. And who knows who will hold on to that responsibility the better, and who will deal with the pressure at this stage of this competition when all could come down to one mistake or one magic moment. Let's have a look at the two teams for this one, starting with the home side, Atletico Madrid. For this one, Jan Oblak starts in goal. He hasn't kept a clean sheet this season in the Champions League, Jan Oblak. It would be perfect to get that started tonight against a very good Arsenal side. Diego Llorente is having one of his best goal-scoring seasons in the Champions League. He scored 4 goals this season in the competition, including only 9 he's ever scored in the competition in his career. Almost half of his tally has come in this campaign. He's along the defence with Pubil, Hansko and Ruggieri. In midfield, Koke captains the side, and he's played every Champions League game for Atleti this season. A reliable captain, Cardoso alongside him in that 2 in the middle, and the wingers, Giuliano Simeone and Ademola Lookman, who has scored in his last 2 games, including the Champions League game against Barcelona, which decided who would be going through. And the front 2 of Antoine Griezmann and Julian Alvarez, who has 9 Champions League goals this season. That's his the most in a single competition this season. He scored his most goals in the Champions League, 8 league goals, so he's leading the charge in this competition. Musso, Esquivel, Mendoza, Sorlot, Baena, Almada, Longley, Molina, Vargas, Lenormand, Bonar and Diaz all on the bench for Atleti. Well, for Arsenal, it's 2 changes from their 1-0 win over Newcastle at the weekend. David Raya starts in goal, and from a goalkeeper who hasn't kept a clean sheet in the competition this season to a man who's kept the most. 8 clean sheets for David Raya. That's the most in the Champions League this season for the club and, of course, for the player. William Saliba is alongside Gabriel in that back, the 2 centre-backs with White and Nkapie, the full-backs. Saliba makes his 50th UEFA appearance, his 31st in the Champions League tonight. A midfield 3 of Martin Zubimendi, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, who hasn't scored in the Champions League this season, Odegaard, but is just his 6th Champions League appearance of the campaign, an injury-ravaged campaign for the Arsenal captain. And a front 3 of Noni Madueke, Gabriel Martinelli, who's Arsenal's top scorer in the Champions League with 6 goals, and Victor Gyökeres, who scored twice against Atleti in the game back in October, but hasn't scored a Champions League goal since the 28th of January at the end of the league phase. On the bench, Kepa, Setford, Mosquera, Saka, Jesus, Eze, Norgard, Trossard, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Dauman and Salmon. And let's have a look at the 2 teams, of course, up against each other there in that full screen. 4-4-2 for Atleti, a very usual look for Diego Simeone's side, and a 4-3-3 we expect out of Arsenal tonight. But it will come down to, really, it could come down to one moment. We said that last night. We didn't anticipate that we'd see 9 goals last night, but something tells me we're not going to see something similar tonight. But you never know. The Champions League is a strange force at times, and in a massive atmosphere like this in Madrid, Arsenal, who have been the best defensive side in Europe this season, only 5 goals conceded, they have the task of going to Atleti and leaving with something to take back to the Emirates next week. It's Atletico Madrid against Arsenal. Kick-off at the Wanda Metropolitano is next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this one as we ready to get underway at this unbelievable stadium. A perfect venue for the latter stages of the Champions League. 2 sides who are in desperate hope that this can be their season. This can be their time to get to the final and win it. And there's no better time to prove that you're a real contender than in this one tonight. You have to say, all the talk from last night's game was that the winner of the competition will come from that side of the draw. PSG or Bayern, whoever progresses through will win the competition. But tonight, it's a chance for these two to show why they've got this far and what makes them real contenders to go on and lift this illustrious trophy in a few weeks' time. Oh, a mistake there. Slipped by Nkapie has allowed Simeone to break through. He's found Griezmann, who lays it back. And the shot from range is easily closed out there by Declan Rice. Martinelli scoops it up the field, but Atleti back onto the ball as that is played back to the goalkeeper, Jan Oblak. Well, an early slip there from Piero Nkapie. That's one thing, as I said earlier, about mistakes. You can't be making big mistakes in a game like this that could come down to one moment. Could come down to the odd error. Again, Arsenal questioned there, and David Rea, the horror ball there, straight out of play for a throw-in. Not a confident start from the visitors. A couple of early errors, and Atleti trying to apply that extra little bit of pressure from the off. Of course, Diego Simeone in his iconic all-black suit. I mean, there's no one that pulls off that type of outfit like Diego Simeone. He's got an aura in this competition. And tonight, his team will try and do what Atleti did to the other team in North London and absolutely pummel them here at the Metropolitano. I'm trying to work it out quickly here down the left. Lookman. And Koke tried to prod that one through. Lookman seen out and seen behind there by Declan Rice, who dropped very deep there. Seen out for an Arsenal goal kick. A very good evening, thank you very much for joining us. Andy says, what a night last night. If we have half the goals in this game as we did last night, that would still be 4.5 goals. I'm still buzzing from last night. Wow, it was incredible. Thank you very much for joining us. Says, Madrid are good, don't underestimate them. Gunners are the underdogs if we go on form. Well, really neither side have been in good form coming into this. 7 defeats in the last 9 for Atleti. For Arsenal, 4 defeats and 7. So neither team are really in tip-top shape coming into this one in terms of rhyming off results for fun. Both sides won their league games at the weekends, but both only by the odd goal. Arsenal won 1-0 against Newcastle. Atleti beat Athletic Club 3-2 here at the weekend. Both played on Saturday, so no beneficiary there in terms of the last time they played. And Arsenal do play again on Saturday, home to Fulham. Here's Llorente, back to Pubil, across to David Hansko. Now Ruggieri, into Cardosa, right to Lookman, and Atleti, who have had the better of the early possession in the first 3.5 minutes, but again I think both sides will just feel each other out a little bit early doors, not look to go gung-ho, not look to go all out. They've got real good quality. I mean, there's no doubt in the fact that Atleti have some really good quality players and can't underestimate that, but also at the same time, Arsenal, when they're needed to show up in this competition this season, have got the job done, and you can't argue against that. Here is Griezmann pulling the strings from deep, plays it out wide to Simeone, back to Griezmann. Now Simeone with space down the touchline, breaking into the area, looks to roll it in behind for Llorente, who was well seen away by Piero Nkapie. But it's pressure from Atleti, and Arsenal hamper the possession again. Koke trying to build up that bit of pressure early doors here, Atleti. Ademola Lookman. Daniel put in good atmosphere in the stadium. It is a very good atmosphere. They threw kind of like white sheets down, like bits of paper, from the stands right at the start of the game as the players were emerging from the tunnel. A sight to be seen, really. Here's Lookman trying to dribble his way around Ben White, cuts it back as Ruggieri couldn't find a way through there as White blocked it off, and now Martinelli challenged by Llorente. Momentarily won back by Cardoso, but it's given away here to Noni Madueke. First real attack for Arsenal to try and threaten. Here's Ødegaard. Swing it back across. It will find its way to Nkapie. Zubimendi. To Gabriel. A bit of Arsenal possession here in the Atleti half. Ben White cuts it back to Noni Madueke. Trying to work his way into the box as he beats past two, and Madueke lifts it across. Back post, and it's gone wide. Two Arsenal players queuing up there at the back post. And Gabriel Martinelli and Piero Nkapie, the two in the mix. Neither could find the target. See it here, great ball, great play from Noni Madueke. Breaks past two defenders, and it's Nkapie that makes the connection from the cross. Really good from Madueke. Just clips it to the back post. Swings just ahead of Martinelli, tries to go for the header, and then the connection from Piero Nkapie on the volley. He just kind of shins it over the crossbar. Big missed opportunity. Look a bit easy to get at there, Atleti, I have to say. That was a little bit easy for Arsenal to break through, but certainly they've been a little bit more free scoring than we used to see of Atleti in the Champions League. They find that balance between defence and attack quite strongly this season. Here's Ademola Lookman. Two in cover. There's a bit of help from the wide. It finds that little chink of space. Finds Cardoso now. Finds Griezmann. On the right side, Griezmann pokes it through looking for Simeone, and that's seen behind for a goal kick by Nkapie. He's had a lot of defending to do early doors, Piero Nkapie. As Griezmann's ball played in behind, he just beaten Simeone to it. Nkapie held him off well to let it roll for the goal kick, but some good threats so far from both sides. Not much has tested the opposing defences. Ødegaard pinging one over the top, and got a connection there. Something of a connection, Simeone, as Llorente helping out defensively. That's seen behind for a goal kick, but Martinelli looked in a dangerous position there. Without that touch from Simeone, he could have been in, the Brazilian. Nicely done. You have to say, it is a fine balance between now and the end of the season for Arsenal. They lead the table in the Premier League by 3 points, albeit City still have that game in hand. And on top of that, a Champions League semi-final. Well, you'd have to say if they play to their level, Arsenal, they should progress over two legs, but you never know. And a chance to be in a Champions League final. They could do a continental double, which would be one hell of a mood lifter. It'll put an end to any doubts that they can't get over the line if they do the Premier League and the Champions League in the same season. Put all the doubters to silence. Make all the last 6 years of hard work under Mikel Arteta rebuilding Arsenal into a fighting machine, a machine that's always battling at the top. Make it all worth it, but all can come crumbling down in a split second. We've seen it before. We've seen it with a number of different teams previously that have been in this position and failed on both occasions to get the job done. Forced into a bit of a heavy ball there. That was well done by Madueke. That was a really poor ball by Saliba. Madueke did well to kind of shield the incredibly heavy pass. Rice. Ødegaard. Bit of space here for Arsenal to manoeuvre between the lines. Ødegaard just short of 10 minutes gone, still goalless. Here at the Metropolitano. Seemingly Arsenal have had more of the pressure in the last few minutes. Atleti's danger has just kind of dissipated a little bit. Madweki on the touchline. Again, they're very patient in their build-up, Arsenal. And of course, Atleti very rigid out of possession. Very stubborn, hard team to play through. A bit standoffish, though, I have to say, Atleti. Allowing Arsenal to have a lot of the ball here in a very dangerous area. A lot of Atleti players in the way. You got to counter that with. Here's Odegaard lifting one with the left foot. Hooked away by Simeone, who got his head up to that one. Martinelli did well on the reverse ball, but Atleti pick it up here with Cardoso. Finding Griezmann in space. The ball played over the top, but not the right option there ultimately by Koke. That's straight out of play for an Arsenal throw. Well, one thing you have to say is Atleti are a dangerous side on the counter-attack, so maybe they're trying to soak up a bit of pressure and hit Arsenal on the break, but it's a dangerous game to play when you give Arsenal so much control. That's a ball through to Gyökeres, too heavy on that one ultimately. Nice idea, just a little bit too much on it. Ruggieri back to Jan Oblak. Oblak playing to play it into a dangerous zone, but it's well kept by Cardoso. Lookman back to Ruggieri. Ball ping forward. Simeone was on his own there, and that was good 1v1 defending by Nkapie, but Atleti have a chance here to break again as Gabriel misses the kick. Griezmann a little too excited, but it's given away by Arsenal again. Julian Alvarez runs into a man. Back it comes though as they rebuild. Koke recycles it well. That's what I mean about the counter-attack. Arsenal looked a little bit vulnerable there. They got back in numbers, but Atleti had one or two opportunities to break into the box. Still got possession here in the Arsenal half. Llorente. It's a lucky bounce of the ball against Nkapie and goes with a little 1-2 with Simeone. Llorente well marshalled, well battled. Will be an Atleti throw. Nkapie had the last touch. So it looks like it will be Giuliano Simeone to take this throw in. Gonna go for the long throw. Launched into the area. Headed away cleanly by Gabriel. Drops on the edge of the box. And it's headed into a dangerous area for Arsenal. But Martinelli's through ball should and is easily dealt with defensively there. I have to say the pace of the defence is getting back and covering over any danger. The least what we expect tonight of these two teams. Very open, expansive game last night. We kind of expect something of the opposite tonight. Two sides that will be strong defensively, won't give up too many clear-cut chances. That's why it could all be all the more important. If you do get a clear chance, you have to take it. Here is an opportunity for Alvarez, who's tiptoeing around the edge of the box and gets his shot off. And Raya makes a really good save. Well, that was a powerful shot from Julian Alvarez, who was tiptoeing around the edge of the area and just got a little glimpse of space to get the shot off. And took it quickly. Good reaction by Raya. Full stretch, making the save, parries it for the corner. A good strike by Julian Alvarez, who was surrounded by three Arsenal players and still got the shot off. A corner to Atleti. First of the game. Griezmann whips it in. Cleared away at the front post, then hooked further clear, but Griezmann will retrieve. He will swing it in again. This got such pace on it. Saliba heads it away. Oh, loss of the ball there. Lost the weight of it. And now breaking away is Victor Gyökeres. He's got Llorente for company. Gyökeres holding him off for the moment. Cuts it back for Martin Odegaard, whose shot was blocked. Bodies on the line defending there from Atleti. Odegaard took a couple of extra touches to get clean room for his shot. in the end, he allowed the Atleti defenders to get in the way of it. They make the block. Victor Gyökeres there, out-muscling Marcus Llorente, charging his way through like a man possessed. Fired that ball right back across for his captain. Strong play there from Arsenal. Just didn't ultimately find the finish. So the game's just added a little bit of extra tempo in the last few minutes. Atleti was still more of the ball, almost 60% of the possession, and Simeone got the better of his man, but deemed to be a foul on Piero Hincapié that time, says the referee. Our referee this evening, by the way, is Danny Macaulay from the Netherlands. So we see the two chances, Ødegaard's shot that was blocked, and then earlier on Julian Alvarez's shot that was well saved by David Raya. Clear-cut chances for both teams emerging there all of a sudden. You have to point to the fact that, Arsenal come into this one as the only unbeaten side in the Champions League this season. Every other team that's left in the competition has lost at some point. There's a ball into the box, header by Hincapié, but there's going to be a foul anyway on a Atleti player. As I was saying, Arsenal remain the only unbeaten team in this season's Champions League. They've won 10 of their 12 games. They've only lost 2 of the last 22 matches in the competition, so they're not a side that gives up too much over the last number of games in the Champions League, but just haven't been able to get across the line when it's counted and when they've needed to this point, Arsenal. So far this season they've looked much more difficult to overcome in this competition. You have to say, arguably they did get a little bit lucky in the second leg of that quarter-final against Sporting, to be completely honest, in the fact that Sporting had so many chances that they missed. They ended 0-0 on the night, and Arsenal just as you were from the first leg, which they won 1-0. So it's not that they've had high-scoring games. They've been getting the job done by keeping clean sheets and holding teams. Such a strong defence. As I said, only 5 goals they've conceded in the competition this season, which is a remarkable number. Goals considering they've played 12 games. This is their 13th game of the season in the competition. Flag's gone up here against Gyökeres. Well, Mikel Arteta and his team certainly have a very good record against Spanish teams. They've won their last 7 Champions League matches against Spanish opposition. Of course, the most recent game against the Spanish team was, of course, the 4-0 win at home against Atleti back on match day 3 of the league phase. They're the first team in the European Cup or Champions League history to win 7 consecutive matches against Spanish teams. They've also won their last 4 Champions League away matches against Spanish opposition. So all good numbers and good reading for Arsenal coming into this one tonight. Ødegaard trying to ping it again. Playing a little bit deeper so far, Martin Ødegaard, as we've seen. Trying to play those deeper balls over the top of the Atleti defence. Pulling the strings from deeper. Zubimendi to Declan Rice. Hincapié. Down the left to Martinelli. Ample cover there, but he played the nice infield ball to Zubimendi, who made the run, but Back out wide to Martinelli it goes again. Much room to manoeuvre here. He squares it back to Gabriel, and now Declan Rice. Saliba. 20 minutes gone. Goalless here at the Metropolitano. Ødegaard. Can't find a forward pass on that occasion as Atleti sitting deep in shape. Not much space between the lines for Arsenal to try and expose, and they've gone very wide to this point. Martinelli trying to drift into space. Zubimendi's ball round the back towards Madueke. And it looked like the last touch was off an Atleti player. That's going to be a corner. Well, Victor Gyökeres, I have to say, has taken a knock here. He's down holding his nose. I'm not too sure what's happened there, but whatever that little collision was, it's a great ball in by Martin Zubimendi. Really nice ball. As you see it here. Madueke might have the contact on Gyökeres there, actually. As I said, Victor Gyökeres has a good memory of playing Atleti this season. Scored twice against them in that game at the Emirates. Hasn't scored since the 2-1 defeat at home to Bournemouth on the 11th of April. So 18 days since his last goal for Arsenal. His last from open play came at the start of the month in a FA Cup defeat against Southampton. And his last Champions League goal for Victor Gyökeres was, as I said, back at the end of January when they beat Kairat Almaty 3-2 at the Emirates Arsenal. He scored and assisted in that game. And he scored the opener inside 2 minutes in that game, Victor Gyökeres. Great ball in by Zubimendi. I have to say, it's a really dangerous ball. When it looked like there was very little space, but Atleti had their men covered up well. It was 2v2 and they just did enough to clear it behind for the corner. Did the home side. So we're halfway through the first half. Arsenal with a corner here. Their first corner of the game, funnily enough. Noni Madueke is going to strode over to take this one. Let's see what sort of set-piece delivery they've got here, Arsenal. We know it's dangerous. We know they're threatening from these positions. For the delivery by Madueke. Cleared away comfortably by Griezmann at the front post. Not the best of deliveries there, really, from that set-piece. As Gyökeres returns to the field after receiving treatment. So he's back on. And the ball headed out of play there by Gabriel for a Atleti throw. But he's claiming something, the Arsenal centre-back. The referee not listening, clearly. And he felt he was held back there, really, at Gabriel a little earlier. I think that's what it was about. He went down in the box, but definitely nothing in it. Well, albeit they've played each other for the second time this season. They will play each other 3 times this season. Of course, we'll play each other next week. This is only their 4th ever meeting in UEFA competitions between the sides. It's, of course, a 2-1 aggregate win for Atleti back in the 2017-18 Europa League semi-finals. 1-1 in the first leg and 1-0 here in Madrid. And then, of course, Arsenal's 4-0 home victory on matchday 3 of this season's Champions League. So 3 of their 5 ultimate meetings across UEFA competitions will have come in this season, this season's edition of the competition. But Arsenal certainly had a very promising first meeting of the season against Atleti. Very different approach, very different game here this evening. Arsenal really don't need to win tonight. I mean, that's the key, you know, when you're away from home in the Champions League and you've got the second leg at home. I mean, you win away from home in the first leg. It's an unbelievable achievement to take a lead back home and have it all in your own hands, really. But you have to say, they would take coming away out of this game with a draw, really, at this stage, and go back to the Emirates, make it a tough atmosphere next Tuesday, and try and put Atleti to the sword on their home patch to get to a Champions League final. That will be the perfect way to do it for Arsenal. As I said, they're not a team that have scored too many in the knockouts, but also don't concede many either, so there's that fine balance. Atleti have looked a little bit clogged up in possession so far. That's that early spell, but it's important they get Griezmann onto the ball. He can certainly link quite a lot up through the lines. They know that very well, the experienced Frenchman. Here is Jan Oblak. Towards Simeone, but a header there from Nkapie was off target. Trying to find Gabriel Martinelli. Just a little bit stop-start so far in the last 5 minutes. There's an opportunity. Gabriel did well, 1v1. Rice holding off his man. Pressing high is Cardoso. Saliba and Gabriel. Back to William Saliba. Into Declan Rice as Atleti try and apply their press, but they've worked away out of it here, Arsenal. I think Capier's come in, failed. Just a little short to Madueke, but he just about capped it to the Arsenal winger. White. Madueke. Zubimendi. There's no doubting Arsenal are confident in possession. One of the best sides when it comes to possession stats in the Champions League this season. That wasn't good possession from Madueke. A poor pass, gives it away cheaply. What can Atleti do on the break here? Nice ball into Lookman's path. He's got a couple around him. Lookman holds it off for the moment. Finds the out ball on Griezmann. Tries to return it to Lookman, who's got into the box here. Ademola Lookman has to lay it out wide. Ruggieri. Ruggieri with the wall in. Hooked away by Saliba. Atleti's turn to apply a little bit of pressure. Back and forth. Both have had one big chance. You have to say Alvarez's shot that was saved by Reyes. Atleti's real big opportunity. And Odegaard's chance that was blocked in the area was Arsenal's real big opportunity so far. Ruggieri with the ball in. The header is over the crossbar by Alvarez. Well, he is the threat. There's no doubt about that. 9 Champions League goals this season. And he's already looked an early threat so far for Atleti. Good ball in by Ruggieri. A good clean header by Alvarez. Just couldn't keep the header down though. Scooped it over the crossbar, but nice idea. Probably not the cleanest of executions, but decent play though from Atleti, but a bit of frustration there on the face of Diego Simeone. Won the throw in here. The home side. Madueke went down thinking either it was his free kick or a Arsenal throw, but it's gone the way of the home side, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, he had the last touch there, Madueke, and then he felt he was impeded by Ruggieri. There was no impeding there. Bit of head tennis here in the middle. It is brought down eventually. By the hosts. Minutes. Lots of turnovers in possession here. Is that Madueke breaks away, and that wasn't too far away from the target there from Noni Madueke. Charged in, failed, and at all the time and space he wanted to get the shot off. See it here. It's just Nicely won back by Rice. Ødegaard laid it back to Madueke, who drove across the field. Struck it with his left foot. Curling back towards goal, and it just curled wide of that left post. All Black was full stretch there and just went wide of the target. He is looking more of a threat though, Madueke. Certainly the most of the Arsenal players so far. Looked at a real danger down that right. Halfway, or half an hour into the game, still goalless. Two chances emerging though for both teams. So Black gets rid. Confident header by Saliba, but no second ball pick up there from Arsenal. All the way back to the Atleti keeper, who again launches forward. Capie 1v1 loses that battle, and albeit Koke lost his battle, but helped by Griezmann to retrieve possession. Cardoso, Koke back to Griezmann. Griezmann played a blind pass through the middle there, and Gabriel beat his man to it in Simeone. And now here's Ødegaard. Lost for options there and has to go wide. That's one thing that really does frustrate me with Arsenal. Yeah, they are a little bit, like when Ødegaard got the ball there, you kind of want him to be a bit more direct, a bit more kind of aggressive, play that ball through the middle. Instead he spins himself into trouble and then just plays it wide. It's just a little bit too passive for me at times. Just want them to be aggressive. They've got the quality and the ability, we've already seen that. Take that extra risk every now and again. That's what they used to do. Not going to change at this stage though, you got to say. Maybe it could be to their benefit or to their detriment, but who knows. And Capie back to Martinelli, back to Piero and Capie, and Martinelli again. Combination down the left, but really going nowhere as it comes back to Gabriel and all the way back to Saliba. You know, all the nice little cute touches and little give and goes, but they're going nowhere. It's all well and good, little combinations, but there was nothing on there. Oh, Saliba. He is a little bit chaotic, Saliba. He's given it away cheaply there, and here's Lookman. Ample Arsenal players back, 6 of them back, but here's Griezmann. Little dink ball to Simeone, who couldn't find Alvarez, who he thought he was offside. And again, decent build-up from Atleti. It's not the cutting edge ultimately. Just need that extra little bit in the final pass. Just has been missing at the moment. I think he was onside there. It's Alvarez, from what I could see. He looked like he got himself back onside in the nick of time. Rice again does well in that space in the middle. Ødegaard out wide to Madueke. Back to White, who will switch it. High switch, but it's taken in nicely by Nkapie, who chested that one down. Gabriel. To Rice. Martinelli. Nkapie flicks it on, looking for Rice, but that one's prodded away from Rice's as the target, and he's told his players to calm down there, Declan Rice, just telling Nkapie to relax a little bit. That one was prodded away from Rice's as the target. Pubil. Cross to Koke now. Right to the left for David Hansko. Hansko flicking the ball down the left channel. It's one for Ruggieri to chase. It's all the way back to Raya, who played the calm, composed ball into the midfield as Arsenal looking to evade the pressure, but it's won back by Atleti, and they've bodies forward here. Alvarez takes it in his stride, then tries the shot, blocked about a yard or two away from him. The ball was picked up and then he fouled Gabriel. Free kick to Arsenal. Applause though from Diego Simeone. He was happy with his side there, getting Arsenal into trouble and pressing really well and moving the ball nicely. Atleti into a shooting position. Ultimately the shot from Alvarez was blocked by Gabriel, and then as he tried to retrieve it on the ground, he just committed the foul. But they are certainly catching Arsenal out a little bit so far. One or two little errors in possession from Arsenal. Atleti are there to pounce. And you kind of wonder, is that the intention of the home side, just to be a little bit more, as I said a little earlier, allow Arsenal to have more of the ball and maybe just kind of snatch the ball away from them in moments and try and hurt them on the break. And a majority of their good chances have come in those moments when they have stolen the ball away from the Gunners in transition. Less than 10 minutes to go of the first half. Atletico Madrid 0, Arsenal 0. This first leg of the Champions League semi-finals. It's a really good block by Lookman on that through ball by White, but it's given away cheaply by Cardoso. White's well stopped there by Ruggieri. Will be a throw in though. Madwicki. White. As he goes, as Gabriel has to get rid of it quickly. Atleti press was imminent from a throw-in deep in the final third. They're in their own half again here, Arsenal. And the ping ball forward is out of play. Thought he kept it in there, the Brazilian, but quite clearly out of the confines of the pitch. That's what I mean. Arsenal just at times give themselves more work to do, really. Forced all the way backwards. They play a loose, cheap pass, a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic on their play, and then Atleti get a bit aggressive, try and apply the press, and Arsenal give away a cheap throw. Just been a little bit untidy in possession, and Rice has given the ball away there to Lookman, who's happy to retrieve it. He's got options ahead if he can find one. He lays it wide. Koke trying the cross, blocked by Nkapie. It will be a Atleti throw. The atmosphere is hopping at the Metropolitano. Who's short with this throw in? Simeone. 1-2s. Works it inside now to Llorente. Koke a little short on the back pass, but Simeone did well with a challenge to win it back. Now Koke in space. Finds Griezmann. He got a little bit caught out by Ødegaard, and that's really nice from Arsenal. Quick, sharp play to get them out of that danger. Gyökeres. Backwards to Martinelli. Well, Atleti have had the only shot on target so far in the first 39 minutes. That was Julian Alvarez's shot that was well saved by David Raya. All wide here to Martinelli. Up against his man as he swung it in. Got ahead of Simeone there. Atleti just about clear it, but only as far as Gabriel. Zubimendi finds Rice. Wide it goes again to Nkapie. Again, forced backwards. Just a sea of red and white shirts in front of him on that occasion. There's no way to progress the ball through them. .5 minutes to go with the first half. We wouldn't complain, Arsenal, if it is goalless at half-time. Very much not. Atleti will be a little disappointed they haven't caused more problems, but being at the home leg, and they do need to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more front-footed, but clearly there's been a game plan in this first half from Atleti. Just haven't executed it cleanly in the final third, as much as they would have wanted to at this point. Here's Rice. Zubimendi to Nkapie. Down the left to Martinelli. Back onto his right foot. Then Gabriel. Swung him with a left boot. Madueke just got there ahead of his man. Was blocked well as he took the ball down. And now trying to spring away were Atleti. Good ball by Griezmann. And now Simeone's on the break down the right. 3 players forward for Atleti. Simeone's ball blocked. It's going to drop for Alvarez, who has too much to do. Nicely done by Declan Rice. Really nicely done. And the ball from Simeone, ultimately blocked by Arsenal, but it rebounded back for Julian Alvarez, who was in a dangerous area. Well, smart from Declan Rice to stop him in his tracks and make sure the ball got all the way back to his goalkeeper. Hoof ball up the field again by hosts. Oh, and a poor header in his own half there. Luckily he got bailed out by Cardoso, but that wasn't the most confident again from Atleti. Alvarez again, a poor header. Aerially a little bit weak so far, Atleti. Martinelli finding Gyökeres, who was bundled over. Penalty kick to Arsenal. Referee points to the spot as Gyökeres was bundled over in the area. And it's a penalty to the visitors in the last few minutes of the first half. This could be a very telling moment. Simeone vehemently disagrees, wagging his finger on the sideline in disagreement. The Atleti players surrounded the referee quickly, but it's again a cheap, really poor header by Alvarez. Lovely little 1-2s by Arsenal. I think it was Zubimendi and Gyökeres that gets to the ball, and then he's just kind of clattered into by David Hansko, who just gets onto the back of Gyökeres, and whether it's enough to push him over is another question. But for me, the penalty's been given. From Gyökeres' point of view, what I'd say is he knows what he's doing there. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying that he's dived. That's a harsh thing to do. But I think he knows that the contact is coming, and he knows that that contact will be heavily scrutinised by the referee. And if he goes over, he's a massive chance to win the penalty. He goes over, and the referee gives the penalty. I don't think it's enough to take him over, but it's smart from Victor Gyökeres. It's clumsy from David Hansko. You give the referee a decision to make, and when you do that, 9 times out of 10 you'll lose that battle. So Gyökeres then to give Arsenal the lead at the Metropolitano. Scored 2 against Atleti earlier in the season. This one from the spot. Gyökeres fires it past Jan Oblak, and Arsenal are in front. Victor Gyökeres with the opener, and how crucial could that be for the Gunners in Madrid and lead in the first leg from the penalty spots. Their Swedish centre forward has them in front. You see it again. Yeah, it's just clumsy from Hansko, and the finish again from Jan Oblak's point of view, probably should get more to that. It's not right in the corner, but it's the pace on the shot that carries it past the Atleti goalkeeper. And it's just kind of sucked a little bit of life out of the stadium. They've defended well in the first half, Atletico Madrid. Not giving up too many chances. But you have to say they are a team that leak goals, and you cannot be giving Arsenal cheap chances like a penalty kick in this game of such fine margins, such tight game in this first half, where both sides have good opportunities. Up until the penalty, I think Atleti had the best chance of the game. 2 added minutes at the end of the half. Can Atleti find a leveller before the break? They're trying their best here. Ruggieri's ball, flick on header by Lookman, is well off target and behind for a goal kick. Well, Atleti have been a little bit, I mean, other than Julian Alvarez, they've been a little bit blunt up front. We haven't really seen much of Griezmann in the final third. Simeone or Lookman really haven't caused much danger from the wide areas. It's been very much Julian Alvarez the main threat, but 1 or 2 opportunities, one key chance really from the home side so far. But from Arsenal's point of view, this has been a perfect away performance to this point. And they lead heading into the final minute of the first half. Oh, a ball over the top by Oblak, and tried to create something there with Griezmann, but shielded well by Saliba, and it's all the way back to David Raya. I think they need a change of approach here, Atleti. Just haven't had the cutting-edge threat that they probably would have expected to have. And listen, it's not a surprise to anyone that Arsenal haven't looked too exposed defensively. As I said, the best defensive record in the competition this season, so no matter who they will face, the opponent will have a tough task at trying to find a way past this Arsenal defence. And so far in this first half, Atleti have really tested Arsenal too much, and will maybe need a change of approach, because there's the half-time whistle. It is a penalty that makes the difference at half-time. The penalty given away by David Hansko's clumsy challenge on Viktor Gyökeres, and the man who won the penalty scored from the spot. His third against Atletico Madrid this season in the 2 games. And at half-time in the first leg of this Champions League semi-final, it is Atletico Madrid 0, Arsenal 1.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Harry Kane, little run up, fires it into the bottom right corner. And that is a priceless opening goal in this Champions League semi-final for Bayern Munich. Harry Kane, absolute dynamite from the spot, and he has given Bayern Munich an early lead here in Paris in the away leg of their Champions League tie. One thing about this PSG team is their fluidity, and here's Doué, plays a ball through to Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia onto his right foot, and he tucks it in. That's the accuracy that Dembele's chance needed. And Kvaratskhelia, absolutely like an arrow into the far corner. A gorgeous finish by the Georgian, and the European champions are back on level terms, which will get PSG a corner. Ousmane Dembele to take, right-footed, Headed on and in by João Neves, who scored against Bayern here earlier in the season. That wasn't to be in terms of a result, but he has given PSG a crucial lead now in the semi-final. And this has been one hell of a start to this semi-final tie. And PSG, the reigning European champions, after going 1-0 down just 15 minutes ago, are now leading by 2-1. And the Portuguese midfielder João Neves heading in from the front post. They're coming right back at PSG here, Bayern. Here's Elise gone central, has space to break forward and absolutely rifles that one home. That is wonderful for Michael Elise. He had his chance saved by Safonov a little earlier. Well, there was no saving that one. That was an absolute rocket from Michael Elise. Ultimately, the block, they called for handball there, PSG. The referee saw no issue, and now the shot from range. They're checking for a potential penalty here, VAR. And in the Champions League this season, they've been given, I mean, it hits his hand, no doubt. And it is a penalty kick to PSG. Dembele tucks it in. Neuer dived the right way, but the accuracy of the finish from Ousmane Dembele has given PSG a third goal. And they've snatched the lead right before the half in what has been a thrilling first 45 minutes of this Champions League semi-final tie. They suffocate you. That's a ball in behind. And Hakimi's gone completely untouched here. Cut back and drops for Kvaratskhelia. 4-2 PSG. And Kvaratskhelia with his second of the game has PSG's fourth of the game. A lapse in the Bayern defence is punished by the Parisians. And they take a 2-goal lead, the European champions. No doubt about that, but they've given it away in the final third, and now the counter could be on. Doué and Dembele on their own here. Doué easing his way past defenders, and now Dembele onto his right foot, and it's found the inside of the post. And Dembele makes it 5. And PSG now running away with this game. 5-2, and Bayern Munich have been flabbergasted in this second half, have been stunned by PSG. And Ousmane Dembele, with his second of the game, has PSG's fifth. Joshua Kimmich with this Bayern free kick, headed on and in by Upamecano. 5-3. I told you these two do not want to stop scoring. It's Kimmich's delivery, Upamecano's header. It might have been just a little glance, but it took it past Safonov, and it's PSG 5, Bayern Munich 3. Harry Kane, that's a lovely ball to Diaz, who takes the touch, then another touch, and another goal. 5-4. The flag, though, I think's gone up against Luis Diaz. It's going to ruin his moment. He doesn't believe that it was offside. He would say that, though, but oh, it's incredibly tight. I mean, it's incredibly tight. And it is a goal. Bayern Munich have a fourth. Luis Diaz has his goal. And it is, I mean, from PSG being 3 goals up to it now being 5-4 and within the clutches of Bayern getting all the way back into this. I mean, Luis Diaz here, absolutely sensational. Spun Marquinhos for a yarn there, absolutely incredible. But there is the final whistle, an absolute thriller to start the Champions League semi-finals. The Parc des Princes, the host to one of the most incredible Champions League games ever in history. An absolutely sensational game, full of attacking quality. Very little defending and goalkeeping going on, but you have to say, ultimately, this is the game of the season, and they, in 8 days' time, will do it all over again, because this tie's far from over. If Bayern can find 2 goals from nowhere when they're 3 down in this game in Paris, they can very much find a way back into this tie. on their home patch next week. Final score from this first leg of the Champions League semi-finals at the Parc des Princes. It's finished PSG 5, Bayern Munich 4. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Half-time at the Metropolitano. It is Atletico Madrid 0, Arsenal 1 at the break. We are currently experiencing some technical problems with the feed of the match at the moment. So at the moment we will try and resolve those issues before the second half gets underway. But It's been a problem that's ongoing throughout the night, but hopefully it should be resolved for the second half. We are a few moments away from the second half in Madrid. And hopefully we have the issue resolved very shortly for you. Right, this is a look at the brackets, of course, for the competition. And we already know who could and very much likely to be in the final come a few weeks' time. But here are the second leg dates, key dates for you. Next Tuesday and Wednesday night, Arsenal Atletico. Whatever the result is tonight, they will play the return leg next Tuesday, 6 days' time, at the Emirates. And Bayern Munich take on PSG as Bayern take a 4-5 deficit, 1-goal deficit to Munich. And the reigning European champions leading going into the second leg of their semi-final, looking to go back-to-back Luis Enrique's side, and they're just one result away from reaching their second successive final. Right, we are all but ready for the second half of the Champions League, the second half of this Champions League game. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us for this one tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on push notifications if you haven't done so already, and I hope you enjoyed the little recap highlights reel that we put together for last night's game between PSG and Bayern. Lots of goals, lots of action, lots of drama, and that video is live on the LFS YouTube channel if you want to watch it in your free time and watch back the reactions to all of those goals from last night. And of course we will have, if there is to be more out of this, we will have a highlights package a little later on for you on the channel for this game. But at half-time, it is a huge goal Arsenal have scored from the penalty spot in that first half. And Victor Gyökeres with the key moment that at the moment has Arsenal taking a lead back to the Emirates with them. But a bit of a disappointment, really, from my opinion, from what we saw from Atletico in that first half. I think a side that on the night really should be showing how difficult they are to play against, and how difficult a team they can be to defend. Atleti, they've got some really good players. They've scored 34 goals in the competition this season, so they're certainly not a team that struggles in front of goal in the Champions League. We just haven't seen that enough tonight, and it's credit to Arsenal defensively in terms of that they have kept them at bay. Atleti coming into tonight with the third highest scorers. PSG and Bayern are the only two teams that have scored more goals than Atletico Madrid in this season's competition. So they're certainly a side that can find the net. But so far, Diego Simeone's side have struggled, really, to test Arsenal too much. The only real chance that we saw from that first half was that Julian Alvarez effort on target. Arsenal's only shot on target was their penalty. So there wasn't much goal-mouth action. But what has the second half got in store as the players return for the second 45? And what has Diego Simeone said to his side at half-time? What message has he given to his players ahead of this second half? Players are back out onto the field, but we just haven't got started yet. It looks like they might be readying a change here at Atleti at the half. And Robin Lenormand will be coming on. He's going to replace Giuliano Simeone. So Lenormand for Simeone. I said at half-time, going into the half-time interval, that maybe a change of approach was needed from Atletico Madrid. Well, clearly there is a change of approach. Robin Lenormand on, and I would suspect then they would probably put Hansko out wide, Ruggieri a bit further forward, or Llorente out a bit further forward. But we get back underway for the second half, and we'll see what kind of change that does to the Atleti setup. Of course, Lenormand obviously a defender, a centre back, so hoof ball up the field there. Alvarez will chase, but that one's going to easily come to David Raya, who just about gathered inside his box. It was a split second away from being a bit more dangerous against David Raya there. Just about got it as it entered the area. And I say just about. Lookman headed onto that ball, but it will be an Arsenal throw. Well, more of the same for the Gunners, and they will be home and hosed here tonight. But you never know. Atleti are a team that can surprise you. But Atletico Madrid, they do need to show more fight. They need to show more threat, more effort. Just haven't seen enough of them. They've been a little bit too passive, a little bit too standoffish, and it's not really the Atleti team we've come to know under Diego Simeone, a team that are really tough, rugged to play against. They're a horrid team to go up against in 1v1 battles. They just become a little bit soft, and tonight they haven't done enough, in my opinion. Griezmann. Llorente played the ball out. Was a little bit too open there, and that's easily seen away by Arsenal. The only thing I can really think that Simeone's probably tried to do by bringing off Simeone is maybe push Marcus Llorente a little further forward. As I said, he's already been a major goal threat this season for Champions League goals, so if they can get him a bit further forward, create a bit more down that right flank, he can be a real danger, Llorente, in those attacking areas. But that's all I can really think that he's tried to do here, get Llorente further forward into more dangerous positions to try and pose a threat to the Arsenal defence. Here is Declan Rice. So go back to David Raya. First into the longer ball, but he gave it away. And then the header is poor again from Atleti. Aerially have been quite poor in my opinion tonight. Norman does well there in his 1v1. Griezmann finding Alvarez, who was bundled over there. That's going to be an Atleti free kick. Or sorry, it was actually Cardoso who was brought down. That's going to be a foul. Yeah, Griezmann with a lovely little flick touch here in the pass into Cardoso's path, and then Gyökeres just bundling Cardoso over. Free kick. And the Arsenal goal scorer say that wasn't a foul, but very similar to the penalty. Anyway, free kick it is then to Atletico Madrid. Griezmann and Alvarez over it. What can Raya do here? As I said, 8 clean sheets in the Champions League this season for David Raya. It is a shot from Alvarez! And it's gone wide. Well, it hit the net and half the stadium thought it was in. And for a split second I thought it was in too. Alvarez there swung it round the wall and it was dipping. Full stretch was Ryan, had hit the outside of the netting. And that sort of got a very deceiving camera angle. You thought it nestled into the net, but wasn't too far away from Julian Alvarez. Really good effort. However, Atleti have only won 2 of their last 12 UEFA matches against English opposition. They've lost 8 of those games, but have only lost 2 of their last 18 previous against them in Madrid. They've won 9 out of those 18 games against English teams in their home patch. 7 draws on top of that as well. Here's Declan Rice striding into space. Played it right up to Ademola Lookman, and then Odegaard forced backwards. And Saliba further back to his goalkeeper. Bit better on their press, Atleti. Pubil with the clearance there. Nicely taken in by Koke. Ruggieri. Caruso. Forced backwards to Yano Black. Wide to Cardoso, who's playing left back at the minute here for Atletico Madrid. Well, Atleti have won 11 of their 15 previous two-legged ties against English teams, including all 3 semi-final games against Liverpool in the 09-10 Europa League, Chelsea in the 13-14 Champions League, and Arsenal, of course, in the 17-18 Europa League. Kick from Oblak. Header won by Rice. Madueke was the target, but Atleti get the better of it, and Rice hitting it off Cardoso. Nicked away by Cardoso as Lookman ultimately was going forward, but he pulled it back for an Atleti free kick, but Atleti were on the move there. A little bit peculiar from the referee, but here's Llorente chasing Nkapie back, and Raya gets rid quickly, but that's better from Atletico Madrid. And they've won the throw-in high up the field, forcing Arsenal into one or two little issues there, but see it here. Was there a handball? That's what the referee claimed to have given the Atleti free kick for. Couldn't really see from that angle, but that's what the referee gave the free kick for, a handball against an Arsenal player. Pubil. Back to Oblak. Again, direct up the field, and the bouncing ball finding Griezmann, who flicked it beautifully, finding Alvarez, who's got the time and space, and now rolls it through for Ademola Lookman. Blocked and stopped by Raya, then back down by Griezmann. Somehow doesn't find the net, as I think Raya forced that one over. Back-to-back Atleti chances, and David Raya in the way. See it here. Julian Alvarez plays a lovely ball through to Ademola Lookman, who snuck in behind the Arsenal defenders, struck it right down the throat of Raya, who made the parry, and as a drop back out, Griezmann gets on the end of it, and I think it's blocked in the end by an Arsenal defender. I think it's Gabriel that might get in the way of this, and it goes behind for the corner. But back-to-back Atleti chances with danger. Cross whipped in at the back post, and that one's headed behind by Saliba. Another Atletico Madrid corner incoming. Bit ahead of steam. Look at that from Gabriel. Body on the line type defending. Fabulous against the Frenchman. An Atletico Madrid corner. And all that paper that they threw onto the field, the fans earlier, might come back to haunt them. Griezmann having to take that away. Pings it to the edge of the area. The strike was miscued. Hansko calling for a penalty there. Incessant appeals. Diego Simeone's nearly on the pitch claiming it. They will check it VAR, but Llorente was incessant that was a penalty. It was his miscue from the edge of the box. Let's see it again. Oh, it comes off the hand of Ben White. I mean, that is a penalty. If that one last night was a penalty, that's a stonewaller. I mean, Ben White, arm out from his body, it's away from his body, and it goes towards the ball as the ball is kicked. If I'm honest, Marcus Llorente has a massive claim, and Atleti should have a penalty here, in my opinion. And he will go to the monitor. Albeit I don't like that as a penalty, personally. But in Champions League, you know what a Champions League penalty is. And that is one this season. Ben White, arm away from his body. The kick from Llorente's shot blocked by the arm of Ben White. Away from his body, that's handball by definition. And the referee, Danny Macaulay, is over at the monitor looking at this. And as he walks away, blows the whistle, the signal, and it points to the spots. Penalty kick to Atletico Madrid. As David Raya gets some information from one of the coaches on these penalties. It is Atleti's chance to tie it up from the spot. It was a spot kick at this end in the first half that gave Arsenal the lead. And less than 10 minutes into the second half, it's the hosts who have a penalty via the handball from Ben White. Look at Diego Simeone. I have to say, there is no more entertaining manager than Diego Simeone. He is so animated on the sideline. And he was incessant, it was a penalty. Correct he was. And Julian Alvarez is the one stepping up here for Atletico Madrid. The chance to tie it up. One spot kick gave Arsenal the lead. Can another spot kick give Atleti their leveller? David Raya, he's already made some saves tonight. Already one against Julian Alvarez in the early part of the game. What can he do here as they watch on in anticipation? Julian Alvarez against David Raya. Steps up and rockets it in. Rooted was Raya. And Alvarez, with his 10th Champions League goal of the season, has a crucial one in this semi-final for Atletico Madrid. They have come out with much more aggression, much more energy in this second half, and they have found their way back into this on level terms from the penalty spot. It's a great strike by Alvarez. It's one of those ones, it was just pure ultimate power. I have to say, we've said that, I think both penalties have been about that tonight. It's not been about accuracy, it's just about putting your foot through it. I mean, it's a beautifully taken penalty by Alvarez. Raya can only just watch it. He was still bouncing, it caught him off guard, really. He took it that quickly, and the accuracy to finish, the absolute blast of a strike. Beautifully taken. 1-1, game on here in Madrid. And this has reignited the energy inside this stadium. They're bouncing again. And the camera is actually shaking. That is how much that this stadium has come alive. And you have to say, one of the best atmospheres in Europe when this stadium does come alive. These fans are so passionate about their club. And they found their leveller. As it looks like Arsenal are going to make a change. Martin Odegaard is going to be coming off. And Abere Eze is going to be coming on for Arsenal. Their first change of the game. And Abere Eze scored just one Champions League goal this season. And that was against Leverkusen in the round of 16 at the Emirates. Well, a tale of two penalties at the moment. Now it feels like the momentum has slightly gone in Atletico Madrid's favour. That's a little bit nervy from William Saliba. Every little miscue, every little throw and every little challenge they'll win. I mean, this stadium is absolutely they're literally bouncing up and down in the stands. I mean, energy is immense. Lovely little step in there down the right as Llorente takes it in on the right channel up against Nkapie into Alvarez's path, who holds it up nicely. Reverses to Griezmann, back to Alvarez. He's got space and options. He lays it out wide here to Ruggieri. Right, Lookman, Ruggieri again. And Alvarez tried to go a little quick to find Lookman. Well closed off as Gyökeres getting involved physically. And that was a cruncher of a challenge, but a clean one. Although he has given the foul, actually, the referee. Martinelli was taken out there. Absolutely cleaned out by Purbiel. Shoves him to the ground. Strong defending, but it is a foul. That's the Atletico Madrid we know. As we edge towards the hour mark here in Madrid, Arsenal having to contend with a bit of momentum from the home tide for really the first time of the night, really, when they've been the team on top. Ooh, and Arsenal just a little bit unnerved here. A heavy ball by Gabriel. Straight out of play for an Atleti throw. We talked about pressure, we talked about big key moments. I think Arsenal are in for one hell of a next 30 minutes or so of a fight. They're going to come away with something out of the stadium. They're going to have to fight incredibly hard. As Atletico Madrid win a free kick there. Ruggieri. Cardoso. Lookman. Alvarez, who evades one challenge, then runs into another, but Lookman has a helping hand and keeps Atleti in possession. Arsenal getting a little frantic with their challenging. And Alvarez has stayed down off the ball. This is a little bit of a concern. He's still rolling around. The referee, no need to stop it at the moment, of course. It's not a head injury, so there's no... It's on Atleti to stop it. They're the team in possession, and they do knock it out of play. Well, Alvarez in real pain here. Massive pain with his left leg. Whatever happened in the challenge, he's hurt himself. See it here. Yeah, Declan Rice just catches the shin of the right shin of Alvarez, and then the studs maybe just clip them a little bit on the rebound, but it's nothing intentional from Declan Rice in any stretch. I think Alvarez will be okay. And we already see his key moment. Yes, one hell of a strike from the spot. I mean, David Raya, one of the best goalkeepers in the competition this season, but he was completely caught out by Julian Alvarez there. He was still jumping up and down. You ever see them getting themselves ready, the goalkeepers? And you have to say, Alvarez caught him off guard. He was rooted. Well, he's fine. Well, Julian Alvarez, he's up and okay. I expected nothing less. We made a tough stuff here in Atletico. Ruggieri thumped up the field towards Griezmann, who caresses the ball under control. I have to say, one of my favourite players to watch in Europe across the last 8 years, and certainly in that period when he was running that France team in the World Cup, was Antoine Griezmann. He's just got that ability to caress a ball so beautifully. Here's Ruggieri, back across to Lookman. Lookman lays it off to Griezmann. Hits the crossbar. Blocked by Cardoso again. Flicked back in by Ruggieri. Griezmann again. That time struck wide, although it took a deflection. Just as I was picking up Antoine Griezmann, he has two huge chances. One hit the crossbar, and then the other was deflected wide. But look at this for a chance. He just dug it out. Kind of toe poked it onto the crossbar. He off balance, flicks it with his toe onto the upright. Come between the post and crossbar there. And the follow-up was deflected behind for the corner. Atleti certainly in the ascendancy. Shows you how the momentum can change. Alvarez to take this Atleti corner then. Referee sorting out one or two little scuffles in the area. Alvarez swings one in, cleared away at the front post by Rice. Another corner. Griezmann was the target. He's coming alive, Antoine Griezmann here. Alvarez gets a bit more swing on that one, and Raya has to get his hands to it to punch it over the crossbar. Well, if Arsenal are the most dangerous team in Europe with corners, Atleti giving them a taste of their own medicine there. That was a really good save by Raya, but a beautiful delivery by Alvarez. Almost incredibly hard to stop that one. So another corner. Griezmann will take it from this right-hand side now. 3 successive corners. Left-footed delivery. Cleared away at the front post. Picked up by Llorente. Fed wide to Griezmann. Clips it into the area. And the header. It was struck at the back post by Lookman. Over the crossbar. Well, Diego Simeone, I think, will be much more pleased with his side's performance so far in the second half. Flicking it, touching it. Everybody's getting involved in the attacking play. We look at these two chances for Antoine Griezmann. He hit the crossbar initially, and then as it rebounded, if they can show us that chance that rebounded, I mean, honestly, 2 big chances for him. And it's almost a coincidence that I was talking about Antoine Griezmann, how beautiful he's been to watch over the last number of years, but it's kind of gone under the radar in recent seasons. A 35-year-old. He will, of course, leave Atleti in the summer. He will join Orlando City in the summer, so we will, might be, very easily could be, one of the last times we see him in Europe for Antoine Griezmann. A joy he's been to watch over these last number of years. Here comes Berrieza. He felt he was fouled. The referee says no, just a throw in it will be to Arsenal down the right hand side. Well, Griezmann did score, at the weekend. He scored the equaliser against Athletic Club, but they were 1-0 down in that game. Athletic came back and won 3-1. Or sorry, 3-2, apologies, on the night on Saturday. And they've come from behind here to level against Arsenal in this Champions League semi-final. 1-1 it remains, the tale of two penalties here in the Metropolitano. Is there more to come? We've certainly seen a lot more invention from Atleti in this second half. Much more what we've expected of them. And they've really given Arsenal a major test in this second half so far. Bit of pressure there, but Arsenal getting some possession. Martinelli. Gyökeres. Zubimendi just getting onto Bereyeze. Now out wide to Madueke. First attack in a while there for Arsenal as Madueke's through ball was blocked. Rice has to go back to recycle possession. All the way back to Ben White. That's a ball through, looking for the run of Madueke, but cleaned away by Jan Black. Turned into a real chess match between the two teams. And that's just a little bit of a clumsy push by Cardoso. That's going to be a free kick. Well, it looks like Arsenal are going to make some more changes here. A triple change to say the very least. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus and Leandro Trossard are all coming on. So major attacking changes for the Gunners. He's going to see the departure of Gabriel Martinelli for one. Trossard's going to come on to replace him. Noni Madueke is going to come off, as is Victor Gyökeres. So the front three that started the game have all been taken out and have all been replaced. So Gyökeres from the spot scored the Arsenal goal. He's off, as well as Noni Madueke and Gabriel Martinelli. And the replacements Saka, Jesus and Trossard. I mean, it's replacing your front three with an extra attacker and a Bereyeze for the final 22 minutes. That is, I mean, a massive advantage with your quality off the bench to make those changes. Of course, Atleti have options. Alexander Sørloth will be one to watch. Thiago Almada, the youngster. Mendoza as well will be key to keep an eye out here for, because here come Atleti on the breakaway now. Griezmann looking for Lookman. Couldn't quite find it as Griezmann battling against his man here. And Atleti just out muscling Arsenal again. Cardoso, Griezmann, little give and go one touch football. Just got a little clogged up there, as nicely done by Saka. First real involvement of the game as Ben White tries to dig it forward. Jesus takes it under control, and the fresh legs sees him eke that out just about. Back to Declan Rice. Nicely done by Arsenal. Jesus gets away from his marker. Saka, well, marshalled and stolen away from him by Cardoso. He's battling and just won it. Finds Alvarez. Yeah, the crowd really happy with their team at the moment. Believing their side can win this. That's where you kind of feel the energy inside the stadium. They believe that their team can go on and do more than just draw this game. Well, Atleti's tally of 35 Champions League goals this season is their highest ever in a European Cup or Champions League campaign. Their previous best was 26 goals in 2013-14, which is quite incredible that they'd only ever scored 26 goals in a single Champions League season, and they've now got the 35 and counting. 20 minutes to go. Atletico Madrid 1, Arsenal 1. Saliba, a little bit awkward there defensively, but Saka helps out, coming a little deeper, and he's giving it away though to Lookman. Now Alvarez drifting forward. He's been really inventive tonight at times, Julian Alvarez, especially in the second half. He's come a little deeper as well as playing further forward. He's been very interchangeable. He's linked it up as well as being that focal point. He's found the balance in that role a lot better in the second half than he did in the first, I have to say. I think the interchange really between Griezmann and Alvarez to be, and one being the focal point and then one being the build-up player. They've interchanged really nicely in the second half, and they've been the most dangerous of the attackers for Atleti. A bit of possession for the hosts. Hansko finding Ruggieri. Laid inside this time to Alvarez, who flicked it forward looking for Griezmann. Cleared away by Arsenal, only as far as Koke. Wide it goes to Pubil. Again gives it back to Robin Lenormand. Haven't really had to say much about the Atleti centre-back so far. In the second half we haven't seen much of them, to be brutally honest. It's not a bad thing. Well, this is Atletico Madrid's 7th European Cup or Champions League semi-final. They've won 3 and lost 3 of their previous 6, so it's a 50-50 split. Their last was, of course, in 2016-17. They lost 4-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid, with their last success at this stage of the competition in 15-16 when they beat Bayern on away goals. And then ultimately in said final lost to Real Madrid in 2016. It was that Real Madrid side that done the three-peat. Back-to-back-to-back Champions League victories, 16, 17 and 18. Ruggieri. Slipped there by Saka, but Ruggieri had it under control anyway. No worries there as Koke swings one out to the right side. Been a little bit more solid in the last few minutes. Atleti, as I say that, they give the ball away cheaply in the middle. A few crunching challenges go in on Arsenal players, but the referee said it was all fair. Here's Griezmann. There's a lovely ball through to Alvarez. And now he's got Llorente on the charge down the right. Here is Marcus Llorente. Prods it across. Lookman gets ahead of his man and hits it right down the throat of Raya. That is a huge chance. Ademola Lookman got the better of his man and should have made more of the challenge as Atleti win it back again. Ruggieri, deflected cross into the hands of David Raya. And you have to say, you got to make more of that, Lookman. Chances they've missed, Atletico Madrid. Griezmann's had a couple of chances, albeit not missed, but they're difficult ones. Weren't converted, and then of course Ademola Lookman's there. At the moment, as I said, and especially the whole way through this second half, it has looked like, since the equaliser from the penalty spot, if Atleti were to, or if any team was to score next, it would be most likely to be Atletico Madrid from what we've seen in this second period, but you never know. Can't be surprised. Llorente on the way back here. So it comes back to Koke. Now David Hansko. Looking to find a way to eke through this Arsenal team, needing the help of Griezmann to do so as he finds Koke. Ruggieri plays a lovely ball into the half space here for Lookman. Gets away from his man and then trips over as he got into the box. Well, he's been dangerous in between the lines, Ademola Lookman. And he's not been able to get the better of it, as that's going to be a foul. Given away there by Cardoso. Right, 17 shots Atletico Madrid have had tonight. 17. 4 shots on target from their 17 shots. I mean, they've certainly peppered the Arsenal goal. Diego Simeone there drops to his knees after that Ademola Lookman chance. He knew how good an opportunity that was. He knows you don't get too many of those in this type of game. With 14 minutes to go, Julian Alvarez is down. And that might be the end. Oh, he's actually getting back up. Certainly not in a good way though, Julian Alvarez. He's gone down a couple of times. Here's Bukayo Saka. Again, given away there by Declan Rice. They're going to kick it out to allow Alvarez to get the ample treatment that he surely and clearly needs. He is on his feet, but I think they're going to make the change here, Atletico Madrid, just to make sure that he is okay. And he's just kind of hurt himself there in a tussle with Eze a little earlier. And they're going to bring on Alex Baena in replacement. So Baena replacing Julian Alvarez. Alvarez with the penalty that has found the equaliser for Atletico Madrid. Alex Baena has replaced him. Who knows? Might be having a keen eye from a few of those Premier League teams. Julian Alvarez, of course, was a former Manchester City player before he moved here to Atletico Madrid. It's been a revelation since he's come to Spain. As Julian Alvarez, we always knew really when he was at Manchester City he was a top tier player. Just wasn't getting the minutes because of Erling Haaland. Amidst the Erling Haaland effect, he had no chance when Erling Haaland was in the City team. And that's clear to see. Here is Bukayo Saka. Oh, now then, he's given another penalty. It's a penalty to Arsenal. Well, I don't know how that's happened, but there's a player gone down. The referee's pointed to the spots. Is it David Hansko again? It's a Eze that was fouled. And is it another penalty via David Hansko? It looks like it is, and he's going to get himself a yellow card. So a yellow card for David Hansko. Another penalty in this game. That one was a little low-key. The referee didn't make much of it. He just kind of pointed. There wasn't much in it, but we'll have to see the replay. Well, it has been a tale of all penalties tonight then. Yeah, well, they both get to the ball, but does he foul him? I think he might. Say it again here from a closer angle. Yeah. Oh, there's very little contact in it though. He does get it to his foot, but is it enough to bring him down? I think it is. Just shows you though, Barry is a very, very alert in the box. Beats his defender to it. They are checking here, VAR. The referee's already been called to the monitor on one penalty claim this evening. That was overturned initially from the on-field decision, but I'd be surprised if this one is overturned. They are still checking here, VAR though. Diego Simeone's given the referee some advice to use the monitor. He clearly feels that he's made a mistake. He would say that though. Let's see what the referee has to say here. He's got his finger to his ear, listening to what VAR have to say. What are they recommending? Andrew Trossard's got the ball tucked under his arm. But this is a massive decision in this game. Atleti have been the better side in the second half, but Arsenal could snatch it here via a penalty if this is given. And he's going to go and have a look at this. So for the second time tonight, the referee called to the monitor to review his initial decision. And this time he's given a penalty on field, but he's been called to the monitor by VAR to review it. Is it enough contact, is what we said, to bring a Eze over? David Hansko is late, and he does catch a Eze, but is it enough contact to bring him over? That's all I can really argue, that VAR is saying to the referee that he went over in a way that didn't look like it was a foul. But he's having a look at the referee. 9 times out of 10 these decisions get overturned. But who knows what's going to come out of this? Who genuinely knows? Because you don't often see these ones overturned, but he has looked at it. And he is still looking at a few different angles here, the referee. I don't think there's very much contact in it, if I'm brutally honest. Well, let's see though. What's he going to do here, the referee? No penalty. So another overturning of a decision. And Arsenal thought they had their second penalty of the game, but Atletico Madrid given a let off. VAR have probably been the second best Atleti player in this second half. They've given them a penalty and taken away an Arsenal penalty. I think it looked a little soft. I mean, it's clumsy from David Hansko, and I said in the first half, when you give a referee a decision to make, I mean, you can't really argue, but he's got away with one there a little bit. He was clumsy again, David Hansko. And Abereyeze went over, and Mikel Arteta dismisses the decision. And Diego Simeone trying to ask for his side for a bit of ruggedness, a bit of fight to the finish now. There's the long clearance by Jan Black, taken down by Lookman. Well, the momentum has certainly been with Atletico Madrid in this second half, but you gotta feel that penalty was a scare that they just didn't need. They got away ultimately with the VAR overturning it, but it's tight moments and fine margin decisions from penalties in this game that's made the difference. Both goals, of course, coming from the spot. Gyökeres and Julian Alvarez converting their penalties. And the initial penalty was given for Arsenal again on the field, but VAR told the referee to review it. And he did, and he overturned his initial decision, so no penalty ultimately. In the second half, Arsenal haven't had a registered shot, which is quite a surprise, but not based on the fact that we've seen what we've seen in the second period. Atleti have had 12 shots to Arsenal's none, 3 on target to Arsenal's none. They've hit the woodwork, they've had many a shot off target, 4 blocked as well. 11 of those 12 shots have been inside the box. And of course one of them ending in a goal from the penalty spot. But it has been all one-sided in this second half. But will Atleti make the ultimate in finding a comeback to complete from 1-0 down at the half to win? Or will they take a level game to the Emirates, or maybe worse, a deficit across to the English capital with them? Given away by Arsenal again in possession. Oh, but given away by Atleti in possession. And now they've given it away in a dangerous area. Here's Ben White. Eze. Through it goes to Trossard on the turn, blocked. Maybe Arsenal have a bit of momentum now. 6 minutes of normal time to go. Atletico Madrid 1, Arsenal 1. Berrieze, Trossard trying to go on the spin again, but throwing their bodies in the way there, Atleti players. That was nice little bits of skill, and Lookman was the target, but a little ahead of him. Allowed Saliba to retrieve. Saka. Zubamendi. Is there a winner in this first leg? It's really been a game of two halves, really. Arsenal were the better side in the first half. Atleti have been the better side in the second. They've both scored respective penalties either side of the halves. I mean, I think a draw would be a fair result in the grand scheme of things tonight. And it will be a result that Arsenal will very much be happy with to take back to the Emirates next week with them. Wonderfully done there. Arsenal will get the throw though. It was Pubil that made that tackle. And is Arsenal going to make this change? It's going to be Christian Mosquera who's going to be coming on for the last few minutes, and he's going to replace Ben White. So straight swap it right back. And we're going to see an Atleti change as well. Nehul Molina is going to be coming on. They haven't made that change just yet, Atletico Madrid. He's still on the sideline there, Molina, so they just made that Mosquera change, Arsenal, for the moment. Just awaiting on that substitution for Atletico. Here's Abere Eze. Right there as it comes back to Eze central. Zubamendi. Now Mosquera. Eze. Mosquera! Blocked by Jan Oblak with the save. Not far away though by Atletico. They'll keep the press on here. Ball played out to the right. Saka 1v1 with his man here. Leaves him for dead there. Flicks one to the back post. It's a very high ball. Will be retrieved at the far left side by Arsenal. Pinning Atleti in their own half at the minute. Excuse me. And the left it comes, and it's cut out by Antoine Griezmann. And it's going to be a free kick to Atletico Madrid. Nicely done. Well, I have to say, it's been a well-fought game, I have to say, between the two sides, in a very different manner than to last night. Last night it was just pound for pound, shooting, chance after chance, shot after shot, opportunity after opportunity. But tonight it's been much more of a rugged physical battle, and we expected that, but both sides have had chances to further their leads, further their goal scoring tonight. And as Cardoso is replaced by Molina, Nehul Molina, very experienced in this Atleti team, the Argentinian. And he's coming on in the defence just to help Atleti make sure they don't lose this game. That's the last thing they need to do right now. To go behind. Arsenal in the air there, a little bit loose. Saka tries to play a square ball across his midfield. Zubamendi bails him out there massively, and Abere Eze on the half turn. Look at that from Eze again, spinning for fun away from his man. And he just couldn't poke it through, but that is wonderful from Abere Eze in the build up there. Spinning one way and then spinning the opposite. Fabulous. Here's Trossard. Just over a minute to go of the 90. Rice. Going to hit one from range. And that one's gone well wide. Wasn't too far away from Declan Rice, you got to be honest. It was worth a hit. Oh, Black knew it was going wide, and wide it went. Long kick up the field. Flick on. On by Arsenal again, though. Got a bit of room here to break away. Jesus breaks onto the ball here. Flag stayed down. Simeone's halfway down the field there, out of his technical area, trying to chase the linesman. Arsenal with the possession here. Gabriel. Jesus to Rice. Saliba. 90 minutes are up. And 7 added minutes at the end of this game. 7 more minutes between now and the final whistle. Is there another opportunity to try and win this? Abere Eze. Zubamendi. Wide to the left. And Capier's cross. Right round the back. Saka takes it down. Saka to Rice, whose shot was blocked. And it's Arsenal. They've had the momentum in the last couple of minutes. Yeah, seemingly the side that are on the push for the winner. Atleti have just stood off a little bit in the last couple. Maybe trying to hit them on the break, and they've won it here. Trying to break away on the counter. And he's a lot to do here at Bayern. And he does well to hold up the possession. Get them up the field a little bit here. Llorente to Koke. Ruggieri. That's that. Play it backwards. Hansko. Lenormand. Hansko. To Robin Lenormand. Is there an added time winner in this one? Well, in 6 days' time, we'll be seeing a level tie at the Emirates. Long ball from Atletico is well cut out by Arsenal. It's Nkapie that broke it apart, and here's Trossard to Nkapie. He finds a way back to Gabriel. Rice. Five minutes of the added 7 to go. This Arsenal in firm control. Atleti have really stepped off, just dropped deeper. Trying to just hold on to this, but they've been the better team in the second half. It's the question as to why they haven't been more aggressive, been more attacking. Since that penalty was ruled off, why they haven't gone on to try and find the winner. They just lost that momentum. And a question mark as to why they haven't gone for the juggler here, but maybe they're just trying to keep themselves in the game and maybe got a plan for next week. Who knows? Koke into Griezmann. A nice space down the right here for Atleti to exploit. They're going to swing it in early. Bayern flicks it across. Lookman was the target again, but it's scrambled away by Arsenal. Raya was going to come and claim, but a bit of panic set in there from Arsenal. Hooked clear. The little man Ademola Lookman certainly caused big trouble. Big concern in the Arsenal defence. Here is Ruggieri. Hansko. Ball pinged forward again, looking for Ademola Lookman, who took a beautiful first touch round his man and then was beaten to the second ball by Saliba. Oh, Eze gives it away here. Rolled down the right. The shot is just zipped over the crossbar. It was Molina with the efforts. An absolute bullet of a strike. See it here. Laid in by David Hansko. An absolute thumper there from Molina. Couldn't keep it down. I think he was claiming that Raya got a touch to it. Wanted a corner, but I think a goal kick was given. He might have just got his fingertips to that one, the Arsenal keeper. Can't really see from that angle. Well, 2.5 minutes to go, and now Atletico Madrid have come alive with one or two little chances of their own to try and snatch a winner. Finely poised is the best way to put this game. Very finely poised. Ooh. Saka got the better of his man here. Down the right, Llorente trying to block him, as was Ruggieri, but Saka evading those challenges. Eze to Trossard. Now Nkapie back to Eze, who miscued it, and as did Trossard, but Nkapie picks it up again. He tried his hardest, but could not find a way through. And Oblak smothers in his area. Clock ticks away. They're going to throw in here, Atletico. Well, you've got to say, in the balance of things, you could argue that both sides will be pretty pleased ultimately with the way things have gone tonight at times. That they will take a draw, but on the balance of things, you'd have to say Arsenal would be the more pleased to take away a draw out of this game if they do hang on for said draw. Atleti with the dominance they've had in the second half, and they're probably the chances they had to take the lead in the second, maybe will just shade the joy out of this a little bit. But they've got an opportunity to take a level game back to the Emirates next week. A chance to maybe snatch something. You never know. Wanted a foul there, Atleti. They're going to be given the foul. To the last minute of the 7 added here in Madrid. Atletico Madrid 1, Arsenal 1. Is there one more opportunity? Black with the long kick. Headed confidently away by Arsenal. The battle and tussle around the midfield is actually going to end up in an Arsenal free kick there as Declan Rice was brought down. And that probably should be that, really, I would suspect, unless they get it moving here quickly, Arsenal. I think this might be the curtain call on the evening. And there it is, the final whistle blows. And after 97 minutes, we're only halfway through this tie. But after 90 odd minutes here, you couldn't separate them. A penalty apiece to decide the result. It was Victor Gyökeres who scored right on the death of half-time at the end of the first half, before Atletico Madrid responded with a penalty of their own not long into the second when Julian Alvarez converted. Arsenal thought they had a second penalty. That was overruled by VAR, and the referee reviewed it and overturned his decision. But on a night where probably a draw is a fair result. Arsenal dominated the first half and scored. Atleti dominated the second half and scored. A game of two halves, and we're only halfway through this semi-final tie. It's finished here in Madrid tonight. Atletico Madrid 1, Arsenal 1. And there is confirmation of the two first leg results then from our semi-finals. PSG 5-4 winners against Bayern Munich, and we will watch them a week tonight in Munich. But it's 6 days between the first and second legs between Atletico and Arsenal, and the return leg at the Emirates in 6 days' time, next Tuesday, to see who will be the first team in this season's final. Will it be Arsenal or will it be Atletico Madrid? It will be down to the winner on the night to decide who will be going to the final. And that is all to look forward to. A reminder for you of those second legs next Tuesday and Wednesday night here on LFS. And of course it's all building up to the grand final, the grand finale of the season in Budapest in Hungary on Saturday the 30th of May, the 2026 Champions League final, to decide the champions of Europe. But that is it from us tonight. We will be back on Saturday lunchtime when the championship concludes its season and the final day. Who will get that automatic promotion place? Who will get the playoffs? We'll talk all about that on Saturday. But from tonight, after the two games in this midweek in the Champions League semi-finals, one was a goal fest, one was much more of a tough fixture and a much more even affair between the two sides, certainly defensively. Penalties deciding the goals ultimately on the night. But it is all to play for all four teams going into next week's second legs. It has been an entertaining midweek, two very different games, and we expect more of the same the next time the two sides meet in less than a week's time. And who knows who will be going through to this final, but it will be certainly one to behold when it does happen. We'll be back for that next week. Thanks for your company. Great to have you with us tonight. Good night.